Hello everybody, this is Gretchen Hidell and it is our Monday night date here on Facebook Live, whether you're watching it live or on the pre-recorded Facebook or on my YouTube channel at Gretchen Hidell on YouTube. Please go ahead and like and subscribe, by the way, if you are on YouTube. Welcome. This is this week in astrology, and it is going to be the week of October 5th all the way until October 11th, 2020. And we have more big energies coming. I know it's a shocker. I've been talking about this all pretty much throughout all of 2020, how there's big energies happening and big things going on. And you know, I can't say that this week is going to be any different than that. So if you are joining me live, welcome. Thank you very much for doing that. And please go ahead and post your astrological sign below. Say hi, and I'd love to hear everybody. We have Corbin, still very Scorpio. Jacqueline Aquarius, welcome. Different people joining. Chris, hey, welcome. Colette, definitely. Capricorn Sun, Cancer Rising, Virgo Moon, and so on and so forth. Amir, Taurus. And yes, if you have somebody, a friend or somebody that you think would benefit from watching this, go ahead and tag them in the show notes, because this is how the good word gets spread. So we have a lot of different astrological energies kind of happening, and I'm going to go over them. So today, Monday, was kind of like, I'll say Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of this week are sort of like the gentle days. Now, I use caution when I say that, because I have people that go, but you said it was going to be good and it wasn't good, you know, for me or something. This is, first of all, I'm talking about the collective energy. And second of all, you have to understand that these planets don't just stop and start, right? So when I talk about dates being of interest, those dates are the peak of what's happening. So what happens is we go up the mountain, peak, and then we come down the mountain. So when I'm talking about these astrological energies, I'm just talking about the peak days, and some of the days in between are sort of like, I don't want to call them filler days, but they're days that are like, there's not a lot going on astrologically speaking, but in the backdrop, there's these big things going on. So it's almost like, you know, saying that, like, trying to use an analogy, like if something big was going on, it's like, how do you just not, it's almost like you can't like tune it out. You'll still feel the energy. And furthermore, if it's hitting your astrological chart on a personal level, let's say, you know, it's hitting your Mars or your Venus or some kind of thing, and it's all up in your chart, you're going to feel this even more strong. So we're going to talk about some of the energies this week. So Uranus is actually getting activated this week. I know that I keep talking about Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto, and we will talk about that during this broadcast for sure, but Uranus is getting involved in the mix, and Uranus is in Taurus, okay? It's been in Taurus for a couple years now, and Mercury is going to oppose Uranus, okay, on Wednesday the 7th, and again, that's the peak of it, so we will feel that on Tuesday, and then Wednesday's the height. And then on Saturday, on the 10th, 10-10, Venus is going to form a trine with Uranus. So basically Uranus, what is Uranus in astrology? It is like the wild card, okay? It is something that's unexpected events. Sometimes it can be shakeups, sometimes it can be volcanic disruptions, sometimes it can be earthquakes, you know, it can be different things in astrology, and it definitely affects us on a shaking level. When Uranus and Mercury form oppositions, or anytime they kind of come together in any sort of aspect, but especially like oppositions, that tends to feel almost like people will contact me and go, Gretchen, is Mercury retrograde? What is happening? Because Mercury is like kind of how we communicate. So think about computers and cell phones and all that kind of technology stuff that we have nowadays for communication. And then Uranus is electricity. So the two of them together, and especially they're opposing each other, there's going to be a lot of fast information going around this week. But the problem with, I've done this in previous broadcasts where we've talked about what is anxiety. Anxiety is moving too fast, when you're going too fast ahead of something, jumping to conclusions or getting ahead of yourself, or just thinking extremely quickly, because Mercury is how our brain functions, and language as well. It can be a language thing. So when Uranus and Mercury oppose each other, that's like kind of going too fast. And then on a positive side, Venus is going to form a trine with Uranus. And Venus is how we love and our sensuality and all that. And you know what I'm going to say, but we also have to keep in mind that Mercury is going retrograde next week. It's going to be next Tuesday on October 13th. So mark your calendars. Next Tuesday, October 13th, 9:05 p.m. Eastern time on that day. So we're getting prepared for Mercury retrograde on top of this. So yes, it might feel already like Mercury retrograde is starting. And so what I think is going to happen, this could bring in some people from the past for sure. With Mercury being activated here, we might have an unexpected conversation, or a past lover, or somebody could like unexpectedly come out of the woodwork and unexpectedly say hi. That's kind of like Uranus is something that's like kind of out of left field, that we weren't expecting, something kind of like a little bonkers, crazy, that kind of thing. It also rules over accidents, so please be very careful, because somebody could unexpectedly turn into you or some kind of thing. Cancel, clear, we'll cancel, clear that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like some kind of an unexpected event. So we're going to hear a lot of unexpected news in the news, this week. And it's been happening, as you know. All these unexpected events and different things, although they're not entirely unexpected, because Gretchen's been telling you the fall's very choppy and interesting. We'll just say interesting. The fall this year astrologically is just terrible. I'm just gonna be honest about that. So expect a lot. Expect things in the news and different things to happen. So whenever we have these planets kind of acting up, I wanted to talk about something different, because I keep feeling like, again, we keep talking about all that Capricorn energy. So when we talk about Uranus and Taurus, also we're talking about finances and sort of material things. So you want to make sure that you're not, accidentally overdrawn on your checking account, or accidentally this or this or this. And so that's another thing that we want to kind of keep in mind. I'm sorry, my dog's in the background shaking, shaking his head and making a lot of noise. And so that is coming on Wednesday and on Saturday. And also, we cannot talk about Uranus without talking about, like I said, anxiety, feeling nervous, having that I don't even, it could even be like kind of like, I don't even know why. I just am not feeling like myself, or I'm feeling jittery, or I'm feeling, for some reason anxious, or I keep, feeling like something's going to happen. That's very Uranus sort of energy. It tends to have us feeling things. By the way, on the positive side, Uranus tends to be channeling. Okay, so if you're good at channeling, meaning that you are good at like picking up on collective consciousness, or sort of like events, or whatever, channeling is very good under Uranus kind of thing. So if you want to have that intuition and sort of just know things, channeling is enhanced with Uranus. And I'll tell you, whenever Uranus kind of acts up for me, I always tend to have really vivid dreams. I don't know about you guys if you've been having a lot of vivid dreams lately, but again, the peak of it's coming this Wednesday and this Saturday, but we're going to be feeling this all week. It's going to be kind of activated. So, and when Uranus aspects Venus, it's kind of interesting, because it's like, it's unexpected love, but it's also unusual love. So sometimes it's with somebody who's a little older, or a little younger, or love that is different or unusual. So if you're single, you might meet somebody or date somebody that's different or unusual, from a different culture or different, religious background, or some kind of thing that's a little different about the person. In fact, that's favorable right now, is to date somebody that's a little bit different, or whatever. So if you meet somebody that's this week, and they're a little different, give them a chance. I would say give them a chance, because that's actually favored right now, and that's a good thing. Andrea said, expect the unexpected financial stuff, be positive, like unexpected check in the mail. Exactly right. That's the thing about unexpected stuff, is that literally it can be like basically, you know, unexpectedly winning the lottery, or unexpectedly, you know, coming into some kind of a thing. It doesn't have to be on the negative side, it's just unexpected. And so it's the wild card. You know, it could be good, or it could be not so good. So we want to make sure we remain, I always say with Uranus, remember to remain open, flexible, and don't get too carried away with the thoughts and all that kind of stuff, because we can get really in our head with, especially when Mercury gets involved with Uranus, we can get really in our head and very like spinny. So we want to make sure we don't spin out of control. Tina said, yep, vivid dreams. Absolutely. Chris has a new date on Thursday, fingers crossed. Okay. And Rita, my mom, said vivid dreams for me too. Yeah, I've had crazy vivid dreams. I had like really crazy vivid dreams over the weekend, and it was sort of interesting. So that's a thing. And Chris, please date outside your type, okay? Because sometimes instant chemistry with a person, we're taught, okay, by people, you'll just know when you meet somebody, you'll just know, and if it's instant chemistry, it's great. I happen to tell people, especially if they have a past history, if y'all are adults and you have a past history of dating folks that maybe it didn't work out, or you're attracted to kind of bad boys, or women that need, you know, fixing up, or whatever dynamic it is. If you're, in other words, if you're dating people that are like kind of repetitively the wrong person over and over, you might have a little kind of hiccup there in your instant chemistry file. And that means that you should actually not date somebody that you have instant chemistry with. You want to build chemistry over time. Think slow burn, you know. And I always say too, if you have that kind of problem or issue in your dating life, make sure that you date people that are different, but also give them multiple dates. So like 3-4 dates, 5 dates, until you get a clear feeling of definitely no, or maybe it's getting to be yes. Like each date you go out, you like the person a little bit more and more. So that's just a little dating coaching 101 for you guys. A lot of people always go look for that chemistry, and I'm like, don't look for the chemistry, not the instant chemistry. You want to have a slow burn, build chemistry with somebody. So that's an element, and that's kind of like the fun element coming. Also, we have the Sun square Jupiter in the weekend too, and that's a fun element. We have a lot of transits this week. There's not as big of planetary things, but one thing that I want to get to that is really powerful is Mars square Pluto, and the last quarter lunar cycle, second quarter lunar cycle. Some people, it's so confusing because some people call it the last quarter lunar cycle because there's 4 phases to the moon. There's actually more than that, but there's 4 main ones. And then some people call it the second quarter lunar cycle, and then some people call it the last quarter lunar cycle. But I call it the second quarter or the last quarter. So on Friday we have the big thing coming. So that's what I want to kind of focus on, because that's sort of like the stuff that's involved with all of this craziness that we're having with, you know, government and COVID and all of that stuff. So Mars is going to square Pluto again. Now, if this seems at all familiar, what is happening is Mars mostly is going to be forming 3 squares each with the 3 big planets that are in Capricorn right now. And I'm talking about Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. So through the fall, through like August into December even, Mars is going to be forming squares with all of these planets. Mars, the god of war, right? Aries, Mars is retrograde right now in Aries. So that's basically what happened is Mars was going forward. Now it's going backward, and then it's going to have to go forward again once it goes direct. So each time it's like hitting these planets 3 times. That's basically what's happening with each of these planets, and there's 3 of them. So it's like hitting all 3 times. So I'm just going to focus on this one. We had Mars square Saturn last week, and now we're going to have Mars square Pluto now. And so that's going to come on Friday. But again, these planets are just activated right now. We can't even say it's not activated because it is activated. And it's a lot. So Mars, the god of war, Pluto, the lord of the underworld. Pluto just went direct, by the way, on Sunday. Saturn and Pluto just went direct on last week. And so, that's a lot of energy. So I'll go over the 3 dates that Mars is hitting Pluto. Okay. So it hit Pluto, squaring Pluto, on August 13th. Was the first time. And if you guys remember what you were doing, what was going on in your personal lives back then on August 13th, around mid-August, what was happening, okay? Because it doesn't have to be just on that day. You want to think about, it might have been like a week on either side. What was happening for you around August 13th? Okay, so it hit then. Now it's going backwards on October 9th. Okay, so it's going to hit this Friday, October 9th. And then it's going to be doing it again on December 20th. And so that's 3 times. That's a lot of times. And, Pluto is, Mars is fires. Pluto can be fires. It can be violence in the news. It can be like that sort of death and destruction kind of stuff. Pluto is the lord of the underworld. Pluto is transformation, phoenix rising. All of this is a big transformation, okay? Now, how Pluto transforms is rough. Like, out of all of the planets, Pluto's transformation is the roughest because it's almost like a forest fire. It burns everything to the ground. I'm sorry for all the people in California, Colorado, Oregon, West Coast. The fires are crazy right now. And so if you guys remember, and I don't know if I have my paper here, I don't, with my map on it. If you guys remember, all of these planets, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, are off of the West Coast. The good news is they were retrograde, and I say good news because it was good news. If you look at the map, it was retrograde. So they were moving out to sea. Now they're going to go direct, and they're going to come more closer and closer and closer to inland. As they come closer to inland, the West Coast is just getting pounded, you guys, and just West Coast of the United States is getting pounded. And so that's kind of stuff. But in our personal lives, it doesn't, collectively, this is all hard stuff. But in our personal lives, it doesn't necessarily have to be hard. In fact, sometimes these planets, again, they're transforming something in your life. So pay attention to what's going on and what's happening now. If you have any degree of an anger issue in you, watch as we get closer to Friday, because anger, aggression, just feeling frustrated and irritated can come up for us. The best thing to do is physical exercise. Whenever we talk about Mars, is to work it out on a physical level. This isn't necessarily a time to sit and zen out and meditate. Sometimes that anger or that aggression or that energy needs to move through the physical body. Just be careful, again, because Uranus is accidents. We just want to make sure. And sometimes with Pluto, we can overdo things because Pluto tends to make things like kind of, it's not like Jupiter where it makes things bigger, but it can be a thing. So we want to make sure that we definitely take good care of our physical body, like going for a power walk, in the middle of the day. That would be a good thing to do during these Mars transits. We're going to see a lot of stuff probably on the news pertaining to violence, pertaining to, maybe another shooting, all kinds of stuff like that. And that it pains me to say it, but that's basically what it's doing here. But I guess if I can say something in a positive way, we're peeling back these layers as we keep going. We're peeling back layers of like kind of what's broken and what needs fixing and all of this stuff that's getting purged and everything. Now, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, I don't want to say are single-handedly responsible for the COVID thing, because it's a many factors, but they're like some of the main players in the COVID stuff. So we're going to see more stuff come up around that. And Mars retrograde is just peeling these back. So that's what's hard. It's a lot of hard collective energy. And so how do you process that? One thing is, and a beautiful thing is that Uranus can give us a little bit of detachment, a little bit of like, kind of, we have to love in the world, but we have to love in an unattached way, and sort of removing ourselves from that and reminding ourselves, because I know a lot of you on this broadcast are empaths or HSPs, highly sensitive persons, or intuitive yourselves. And I know a lot of light workers like to join me here on this broadcast, and I'll tell you, it's heavy energy. I don't know if you guys want to post how you are dealing with the heavy energy, but I like to remind people, remember, this is going to be a week of dumping. We want to dump the energy. You don't want to take the energy and hold on to it, because this is heavy collective energy that we're holding on to, and holding on to it's not actually going to help to move it. We need to move the energy. So moving the energy through the body is good. So a lot of people do yoga, all that kind of stuff, like power walking, even smudging, doing some kind of thing like that, to be able to burn and release some of this energy is a good thing. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about my dark colored stones, like I love hematite, any kind of black tourmaline, any kind of, sort of dark stone onyx. Jet is another good one. I don't have a piece of jet here, but it's basically another black stone. Even snowflake obsidian, any kind of stone like that is really, really good for protective work right now. Burning dragon's blood incense is another good one to kind of move and burn some of this energy. All kinds of protective work. I guess that's what I'm saying, is we want to get into more protective work, self-protection, because we need to have a little buffer with some of this negative energy. It's just been a little bit rough. So welcome everybody who's joining live tonight, and make sure you post your astrological sign below. I love hearing from you guys. And also, if you have any questions for me, I want to talk very briefly, speaking of all of this Pluto and the Saturn and the Jupiter stuff, that we've been talking about all this time, and especially since COVID started and everything else, all throughout 2020, by the way. It's just been a thing all throughout the 2020. When we talk about all of these planets, we are in what is called, I nicknamed it, the final pop quiz. Okay, you know how like in school, a teacher will teach you, and, it's like you basically, you get tested, and then you talk about the stuff, and you do more reading, and then you have a final pop quiz. You have the final quiz on this stuff. And so basically it's one of those things that, we're getting a final pop quiz in Capricorn. These planets, before they move on, they give you a final pop quiz. So whatever you've been dealing with within the last year to 2.5 years, we're going to have a final review, okay, in Capricorn. And that's for everybody. I mean, it's like our theme, the theme of the last 2 to 2.5 years is wrapping up, from Jupiter, from Pluto, from Saturn, all that. Pluto's not ended yet, but it's getting... Pluto moves slowly. It's getting towards the end of Capricorn. So what has been going on with you? Because we're about to start a new thing, and what we are going to do, it's almost like when we start to transition into the next sign, which is Aquarius, by the way. So Jupiter and Saturn will move into Aquarius in December of this year. So we're coming into the final 2 months. We only have 2 months left of this Capricorn energy. We're going to be able to wrap some of that up. And so we're going to have the final pop quiz. Now, this is the thing. It's one of those deals that if, let's say you have a spiritual life lesson going on for yourself, or a literal life lesson. Maybe it's with money, maybe it's with a relationship, maybe it's with your health. It depends on whatever department or house that these planets are falling in within your own astrological chart. But even if you don't know your chart, just kind of think about what has been going on for you the last year to 2 years, and that's pretty much what the deal is. now we're getting to the end. We're going to have a little final pop quiz. Okay, did you learn all of your life lessons? Did you learn your stuff? And the good news is that there usually, if you did your work, your physical work, your spiritual work, your emotional work, all of the processing you were supposed to do during all of this time, if you did your work, usually there's a reward. There's usually a reward that you get the thing you wanted. You get whatever the deal is. And for my private clients that are watching, let's say, for an example, these were in your area of marriage and you were single. Well, you might have met somebody, and you might have met a very good future marriage partner, in other words. I've had clients that basically had this stuff in their area of finance, and all of a sudden they get the reward at the end with the finances. Now, if you didn't do your work, okay, let's say you didn't dig deep, you didn't get into your spiritual work, you were like la 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 and ignored everything. Well, then you might have to declare bankruptcy. You know, it's just this is how it kind of works. So it's like if you did the work of these planets were asking us to do in this last year to 2 years to 2.5 years, then you will have the benefit, you will reap the reward, you will have all of the good news and the answers that you were wanting. And so this is our sort of final time in Capricorn. And especially if it's wrapping up, let's say not just in Capricorn in your chart, I'm talking about your personal chart. If it's coming to an end of like one of your houses, then you're really wrapping up something. And then you're about to go into the new lesson. So we'll start to feel, it's almost like you're at a doorway and you have 1 foot in a doorway and 1 foot out of the doorway. We're straddling both worlds right now. With the next lesson coming, we're starting to feel it. And we felt it a little bit over the beginning, I will say end of spring into early summer. We felt a little bubble when Saturn had gone into Aquarius. We felt a little bit of that. What happened for you then? That's like kind of, and Aquarius is a lot of digital stuff. I mean, Aquarius is a big thing. So it is a deal. So I have a lot of comments here. Jane Moonwolf, yes, Taurus, as you know, would shungite be a good protection stone? Yes, I think that's a very good protection stone. I like that one. I don't have one here to show you, but I do like that. Tina said, exercise, keep focus on good family, friends, head down, create art, and make it good in your life, in your little corner of the world. Yes, I agree, Tina, for sure. Jenny said hello from Gemini. Lisa, anyone else getting strange audio experience? Are you talking about my live broadcast, Lisa, or are you talking about messages through clairaudience? Okay, with hearing. Yes, Andrea said yes. The reward is here. Good job, girl. Jenny said, who gets to judge the quality of my work, though? Very interesting, huh? Well, you know, if you look at astrology, it is, how do I say this? Saturn is literally the planet of karma. Okay, so it's one of those things that who rules over karma? The universe. We sometimes call God, higher consciousness, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of karma going on right now, I would say, in the world. We'll just leave it at that. Joanne, hey, beautiful, how are you? Yes, Lisa said, is there time to do a cram session? Oh, you're literally hearing my voice and then a second voice. Interesting. I don't know. I'm just the only one here speaking. Okay, I'm not talking about spirit, but things happen. Things happen. Maybe the audio is lagging a little bit or something. I don't know if anybody else has that problem. Nothing I can do about it because it's through Facebook Live. It looks good on my end, so hopefully it's okay for everybody and you guys can hear me. And so, yeah, I mean, that is, I love that question. Who gets to judge the quality of your work? I do love that question because, you know, it is a thing. I think, you know, there's a higher sort of, you know, kind of consciousness, I think, that's out there. And I think that that kind of is a thing. We look at politicians. What's the, what have they been doing and how's that working for them? Okay, we have all kinds of things happening right now. And karma is interesting. I mean, like, it is an interesting thing. So I'll just say that I'm trying so hard to not say stuff. So I'm going to say that. But I feel like, and karma can be good too. We don't talk enough about that, because when we say, oh, it's karma, usually it's like something bad happened. But you know what? Karma is a good thing too. I mean, karma is just like, having something come back around. So let's say you're a person that puts lots of good deposits in your karma account. Okay. Let's say you volunteer your time and you're always there for your friends, and you're nice to puppies and kittens, and I don't know, you're just a good all around person. You're putting positive karma in your account. Karma comes back. Karma definitely comes back around, and you can get lots of help and blessings. I'll never forget, many years ago, a friend of mine's house burned down, like really burned down, like nothing was left. It was actually an explosion from a gas line. Okay. It was really, there was nothing left of this place. And luckily the person and their family and everybody was out of the house. So like nobody got hurt. It exploded when nobody was home. Thank God. And, the person was a musician. And so what happened was, collectively, all these musician friends put on a benefit concert for this other fellow musician to raise money for the household and replacing, because they didn't even have like toothbrushes. They had nothing. Everything burned down. And this person was at the event, and they were just sitting like this, like in the corner at the place where the event was being taken place. And I went over and I was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, are you okay? And the person just was like in tears, and it was just saying, this is not fair. This is not right. Like, I am the person that does this. I'm the person that puts on events for other people. I'm the one who volunteers my time. I'm the one that raises money for people in trouble. Like, this is not supposed to be this way. And I said, oh, how beautiful. Because now you get to harvest. Now you're harvesting everything that you did for others. We're going to do for you. And now this is your time to pull it in and to harvest everything for yourself. And I gave the person a big hug. And they ended up, I watched, but shortly after that, they got a little smile on their face, and they came out and they started talking. Instead of like hanging their head in shame, they came out and were talking to people and hugging and allowing the gift to be received. Because that's what the deal is. I mean, it's, you might say, oh, what a bad luck I have because my house burned down, right? That would feel like bad luck. But the thing is, the person didn't have that much money to begin with. I'm sorry, unless you're like a big record star or something. And I know I just dated myself because I ever said record, but unless you're a big music star, you're not making tons of money. I mean, musicians don't make tons of money. And here this person didn't really have much, and they had afterwards tens of thousands of dollars to replace items and to get new things. And that person usually doesn't have access to that type of money. And so there were benefits and there were rewards that came in, and that was karma too, and that was a beautiful karma, to be able to receive that. And yeah, it sucks to lose family photos and to lose that kind of stuff, but also to gain and to see how much people love and care, and that's the thing. So now that I just went off on that tangent, so I want you guys to think about how this is a time to reap the rewards, not just suffer through and have all these things seem so negative, and they're hard. A lot of things are hard, and it feels hard when we're observing news and we're observing political and we're observing all these kind of more like negative things that are happening, and fires and stuff, and another hurricane. My goodness, how many hurricanes. So sometimes we have to remember we're in the final pop quiz time, that it's also time that we can harvest in our own personal lives, and that that is just what is supposed to be happening now. We're supposed to be doing that before we move out of Capricorn into Aquarius. And Aquarius is a whole new shebang. Then we're going to go back into the cycle of like learning, you know, learning and growing. So that was my tangent for tonight, but I wanted to make you guys aware that final pop quizzes are hugely important and also a great time to manifest and to really, like, what have you been working on for the last year to 2 years? What are you working on? This is the time to pull that sucker in, you know, land that thing on your line and reel it in, you know, and this is the time to get the things that you want and desire. So Jane said, Saturn's slogan should be no gain without pain. I will concur. Saturn can be hugely painful. Pluto, for sure, very painful. And that's this Friday, okay, you guys. And then even Jupiter, because Jupiter's in the mix, making it all bigger. Jupiter in this paradigm is making everything bigger, larger, you know, and all of that type of stuff. Beautiful story, and so important to remember. Respective. Yes. Thank you, Jenny. It was a wonderful kind of experience, and the person, I think, learned and grew from it, and even myself just observing that, you know, was beautiful. Okay, so really quickly before I pull a card for you guys, okay, I'm going to do my fairy cards. Friday is also, so not only do we have Mars square Pluto, by the way, that's going to happen 9:09 a.m. Eastern time, so 6:09 if you're out on the West Coast a.m. So, you know, that's going to be how we wake up in the morning on Friday and, you know, move into our days. We're going to be hitting that Mars square Pluto. Keep your head down. Don't engage in power struggles. People are going to be very kind of in your face, driving aggressively, all of that kind of stuff, and let them do what they want to do. Don't fight, don't engage, just try to like lay low, okay? So Thursday, Friday, okay, Saturday, it's just going to be a little bit like that. We're also going to have that last quarter / second quarter lunar cycle in Cancer. That's going to take place at 8:40 p.m. also on Friday. So now we got another layer on Friday. So we're halfway between the full moon and new moon. And remember, full moon time frame, as we work our way towards the new moon, is all about letting go, releasing, purging. What do we want to get rid of? What are we done with? And this is the time. The quarter lunar cycle is the time where we reevaluate things, okay? So we're going to reevaluate what we need to let go. And this is going to be taking place 17 degrees Cancer. So where's Cancer in your astrological chart? All of the cardinal signs are getting just worked out so much with all of this stuff. So Cancers, Capricorns, Aries, Libras, oh my gosh, you know, we're all feeling this energy. And even this week with Uranus and Mercury, it's going to be Scorpio, Virgo, and Taurus. I mean, that's like half the zodiac right there. So you guys are all going to be feeling this energy. So quarter lunar cycles are all about reevaluating what we were going to get rid of and what are we working towards with the new moon coming next week. The new moon's going to be in Libra next Friday, okay, on the 16th, October 16th, so write that on your calendar. But for now, the moon is half in the sky, okay? It's a half moon, and this is the time for reevaluation, okay? What did we let go of? And then we're going to be planting new seeds on the new moon. The halfway point, think of it as farming. In farming, we harvested everything, then we cleared the fields, okay? So we want to clear all those fields, get rid of the dead leaves and the debris and all that stuff. And then on the new moon, we plant the fields. Okay, so if you think of it that way, we're just kind of reevaluating something. I also think too, it's another time where it's good to move the physical body. Again, it's just like, you know, walking, doing something. Don't just sit. This is not energy. Does it just sit? This is active energy. Okay. All right. So, I had somebody. Any insights on the Supreme Court? That's a huge question. There's so much confusing energy that's going on. I could go on a whole tangent. I will save that for another video. I've kind of talked about it a little bit on other videos where there's a lot of contentious energy going on with the presidency, with the election, with all kinds of stuff. And it's many, many, many layers. Donald Trump, okay, all right, I'll just say this, okay, because we haven't talked. I've talked to many of you one-on-one about this, but I don't know if I've talked about it on my video. So guess who's about to go into a new cycle? Donald Trump is moving into his health cycle in his astrological chart. So he's ending a cycle and he's about to start the new cycle. Remember what I gave the analogy of standing in a doorway? He's at the doorway of his health cycle. So what my feeling is with the COVID infection that he currently has, I know he's so fit and great and everything's fine and all that stuff, he's coming out. He's going to have long-term health consequences from this infection. And also, just in general, he's going to have health consequences because he has heart and stroke markers in his astrological chart. And he's about to go into a health cycle, which is going to be the next 2 years or so for him. And so that's going to be a big, big, big thing coming up. So he's in trouble with his health. I'll just tell you that. You know, he's got some consequences and some things that are going on with the COVID that they might not be public about. But it's going to be happening, and unfortunately, or it's just, it is what it is. But that is his next personal in his chart thing. So just to let you guys know, there's a lot of stuff coming. I'm giving it to you in baby steps because if I were to like talk about all this, it's almost like is mind blowing. Okay, so Naomi said, "Do you want me to pull a card for you, girl?" Lisa, I have a bunch of major purchases this week. Any thoughts? Okay, so you never want to make big purchases during void of course moons. Now, how do you know if it's a void of course moon? There is a free app called iLuna. You can get it for your phone. iLuna, I-L-U-N-A. It's free. It's a very simple app, but it'll tell you when the moon is void of course. Of course, my astrology updates by Gretchen Hidell, I usually mention it in those write-ups, but it is something that is going to be good to keep in mind. You don't want to make a big purchase on a void of course. If you've ever bought like a sweater and you have it hanging in your closet with the tag still on it, it usually was purchased during a void of course. The problem with void of course moons when you make a purchase is that literally it has no consequence. It'll just sit and sit and sit. You'll never use the item. The item won't be very good, whatever. Like it just won't be like an impactful thing in your life. And of course, you want to do things before Mercury goes retrograde. So next week, Mercury is retrograde on the 13th. So Lisa, I hope that helps. And probably staying away from Friday. Let's just say that. Friday is like a crazy day. So, okay. So Naomi wants me to pull a card. Okay. All right. Naomi, what do you need to know this coming week? Or I'm just going to say this, not this coming week. Naomi, what do you need to know? What do you need to know just to give you this card's trying to, oh, that's a good card. Laughter. Laughter. Now, I realize this can seem a little like, oh my God, I was asking about a serious thing. Why am I getting laughter? Laughter means that the angels have something up their sleeve. Okay, so we're not going to tell her, but it's we're working on it. We're working on it behind the scenes. Okay, so the card of laughter is usually like a little giggle because even if it's something hardcore, if it's something serious, if it's something that's like it needs reverence, and I was really asking a serious question, Gretchen, like I really wanted to know. Laughter means that the angels are about to hook you up with a surprise, a gift, a blessing, okay? And that they're working on it behind the scenes. You don't have to do very much about whatever it is you were asking about or thinking about when I was pulling the card for you, Naomi. So just to let you know, that's a good card to get, actually, because it's just like, it's fun. Okay. What is the significance of Apollo in charts? Amir, I don't use Apollo, so I don't know. There you go. All right. So, Joanne, any visions, Jesus, on what Brooke will be doing the next 2 months? She's a Cancer, July 1st. Well, Cancers are definitely getting worked out a little bit right now. You're welcome, Naomi. I hope that helps you. All right, so what does Brooke need to know in the next 2 months for Joanne? I'm just going to see. Dreams do come true. That's a good card too, honey. You guys are getting good cards tonight. Dreams do come true. Well, this is the time, right? This is the time to harvest and to bring things in. I will say that I feel that there is a lot of computer stuff going on, but that there is something that I feel like is going to happen that's going to make her, like, I do feel like it's like potentially something with friends that she's going to be able to get together, or some kind of a thing where they're going to be able to, I see her with like a very small group of people that, like, I don't know if they're able to like meet up or have I don't want to say a party, but like have like a gathering, but almost like together, like they're together in the same spot. Like, I don't know if they have a little, like, they all stay at the same house, or they have a little get together or a little gathering or some kind of a thing where they're together. So I hope that helps, Joanne, with Brooke. But I do see a lot of computer stuff going on for her. So I don't know if there's something going on that in that particular way too. I don't know if it's like classes or whatever the thing is. So I hope that helps. Oh, is she going to Florida? Is that what you're saying? Oh, cool. I hope that helps with Brooke. I do see her gathering together in a very, very small group. So, but it's like almost like they're to get in a quarantine situation. Like they're doing it like in a protective way, but it's still like they're together. Whatever. I hope that helps. Juliet, what does MC represent in a chart? That is the line, okay? Like, how you have a rising sign and a descendant, which is on the other side. The MC is like your line of career. So an astrological chart has 4 quadrants. The MC is the top one, which is the entrance between the 9th and the 10th house, okay? And the MC is the start of like your career. Medium coli, I think is how you pronounce it, but I always just say MC. And so that's a big career. Like, it's kind of like, it's almost like your rising sign of like how you outwardly express yourself. The career line is how you, like, what gifts and blessings you give to the world in reference to work and how you do that. So I hope that helps. Oh, yeah, Joanne said eventually school online too. Very cool. That's where Cancer is in your astrological chart. Oh, cool. Yes, very, very nice. Okay, so let me see. Oh, Sarah, lots of shifts in your life. Girl, we should talk. I haven't talked to you in a long time. I missed you. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to pull a card for you, Sarah, and then I'm going to pull a card for the collective consciousness, okay, for what we need to know for the week coming up, what everybody needs to know. All right, so Sarah, what do you need to know? What are the angels, spirit guides, and guardians of Sarah want her to know? What's the most important thing she needs to know about the shifts and the things that are occurring for her right now? Okay. Wow, you guys are getting great cards tonight. This is awesome. Have positive expectations, girl. Okay, so remember, with anxiety, we can get into doom and gloom. It's all like bad, everything's negative, blah, blah, blah. And with manifestation, that's like kind of the opposite of the way that we want to be with when we're trying to manifest something. We want to think positively, expect good things to come, okay? And expect good things to happen and expect things to work out, like something like 80% of things always work out, so expect things to work out. And so positive expectations is kind of like, have like a higher, your higher mindedness or your higher consciousness, okay? And make sure that you're not going down the bubble of like, what if it doesn't work? What if this doesn't happen? I have to have, a lot of people come to me and they say, I need to have plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, and plan F. You know, if something doesn't work, I need to be prepared. And okay, that's what, you know, it's good to be prepared, obviously. But sometimes what we do is we put so much effort and energy into plan B, C, D, E, and F that we get sidetracked by those. And then we stop putting all of our plans and our focus into the plan A. Stick to plan A. What is it that you want? Shoot real high. Aim for the stars. And then that's the thing you put your effort and energy into. And in the back of your mind somewhere, you know plan B, I could just do this other thing if it didn't work. And then you want to shelve that. You don't want to like kind of have that activated in your energy in front of you. Identify the plan B, but don't put your time, effort, and energy. I have seen so many people go, and they just go off the rails with the plan B, D, and F, and whatever. So we want to make sure we stick to plan A and really keep your eye on the prize and keep focused, because the angels are saying they have positive expectations, okay? It's just a thing. Oh no, Maggie. Have Reiki for Maggie. She's having an allergic reaction. Oh my gosh. Little Maggie boo. Benadryl, yes, she's taking her, we're talking about Maggie, the dog who is having an allergic reaction right now. I will definitely send, oh, good, Lori. She said things worked out. We did a session and things worked out. Perfect. Plan A. See? Plan A. Well, Plan A. Stick with the plan. What it is you want to harvest, and really kind of almost like have tunnel vision on plan A, because that's what we want to stay with. Remember, this is the time of harvesting. We want to make sure we're remembering, even though the planets are getting worked out and grinding and all of that stuff, and it seems very hard and difficult and blah, 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 we're also getting the rewards and reaping the benefits if we did the work. And I know there's a lot of people that are heavy lifters here that are watching tonight that pulled their weight and did the work. So you guys are going to get a lot of blessings and gifts and benefits coming between now and the end of the year. So you know, just stick with what you're doing. Keep going. Don't stop now. This is like almost like stopping, like if you're like a runner and you can see the finish line and you're almost right there, and then just going, I'm done. You know, it's like, no, the finish line's right there. So make sure you stick with it is what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm going to do one collective card for everybody tonight. A collective, you know, consciousness card, so that we can all know what the angels, spirit guides, guardian angels want us to know about this week to come. What is everybody who's watching the broadcast, either live or pre-recorded or on YouTube. Hey, you guys, if you guys are subscribed to YouTube, please like my channel. Please like my video on my channel, because that helps the algorithm, and that would be so hugely supportive, because I'm trying to grow my channel. Gretchen Hidell. Okay, so what do we need to know for the week? Angel, spirit guides, guardian angels. One card we're going to pull for everybody for the week. Have creative expressions. Creative expressions. Okay, so here's the thing. And yes, that's a beautiful, positive card. She's a beautiful fairy angel. Look, she's got a butterfly in her hand. It's so pretty and lovely. However, this card says we might have to be creative this week, okay? Because we might be having some obstacles, delays, blockages, life lessons. You know, it's almost like that saying, when life throws you lemons, make lemonade. You know, it's that kind of thing. How many cheesy like sayings can I say tonight? I'll just tell you. But it is really true. Like, we want to be creative a little bit. Like, you know, if life does give us lemons, we can make lemonade, and be creative with things. Like, it doesn't have to be so hard. If you get a blockage or an obstacle or something that's like kind of you're struggling with, get creative. I can't remember who it was. It was I can't remember who it was. I think it was Thomas Jefferson that said, like, for every one problem, there's like 10 solutions. And so think outside the box and get creative. You know, the one cool thing with Uranus is, again, it's very outside the box thinking. It can be a creative thing, but Uranus is about doing something that's unusual, quirky, or different. And so think about that. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, even though it's in Taurus right now. It's the ruler of Aquarius. So think outside the box and think a little bit differently, because, you know, sometimes, I don't know, we can break some rules a little bit and just have some fun with things. We don't have to do things. There's not only one way to do things, is what I'm saying. Sometimes there's multiple ways to do things. And so that's Uranus outside the box energy. So creative expression, and also Venus is going to be activated too on Saturday, which Venus is very lovely and creative, like literally like clothing and fashion and design and arts and crafts and all kinds of things like that. So have fun. Don't, you know, it's a little heavy week, especially towards the end of the week. So have some fun when you can, and enjoy, you know, just every moment. Just we need to enjoy, because it's been a little bit rough and it can be a little heavy. Some of this energy can be a bit heavy. So, and just a friendly reminder, back up your computers, back up your cell phones, do all that kind of stuff, because Mercury retrograde is coming on Tuesday. So we want to make sure we have everything backed up and all that good stuff. And next week is going to be a little bit, it still has some stuff, but the beginning of next week will be lovely. So anyway, I'm going to sign out for now. I love all of you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gretchen Hidell. Please like and share this video. Thank you for everybody for watching and tuning in every Monday night. You guys mean the world to me. I've been doing this every Monday night since COVID started, which has been since the beginning of the year. I love doing it. I love connecting with you all. And so please take good care of yourselves. Many blessings. Namaste. Bye for now.